Hello, hello. We'll be starting in just a few minutes. We will be starting in just a minute. Good seeing your faces, some of your names. All right, looks like it's 7 o'clock. So we're going to begin. I am Stacy Paulson, and I am a certified health coach, have been using essential oils for about 10 years now. Absolutely love this topic of women's health and hormones. And Chelsea asked me to teach it. It's her anniversary, so she's not popping on today. She's going to honor that, so that's awesome. And so her survey link that she usually puts in here, she'll be posting it on the Facebook group, so you can fill that out. And because I don't have any helpers like managing the chat, for any of you who are like essential oil experts or in this area, if there's questions that are posted and you're able to answer them, will you please help out? Because I won't be able to see them once I share my screen in the presentation, but I will answer things at the end, just so you know. Or you can unmute and ask it while we're going along. I have no problem with you like interjecting and asking your question at that moment. So we're going to begin. My first experience with oils was with allergies. I had one of my friends, Elise Coyle, who we were flying kites in a hayfield, and I've always had allergies since my first girls camp, 12 years old. And so I just used medication, but I didn't have my medication. And so my eyes were watering and my throat was all itchy and my nose was running and I just was kind of a mess. And she came up to me with an essential oil, and I'd never heard of them, thought it was really strange. But I just put a couple of drops on my finger, rubbed it over the bridge of my nose, and within minutes, my allergies were gone. And that blew my mind. Like, what was that? What are essential oils? And I remember just going home and Googling essential oils. What are they? How do you use them? What are they good for? And all that. So that started my journey into essential oils. And what my friend at least didn't know is that I was having challenges, women's health challenges. I was miscarriages and constant migraines, 2 or 3 a month. They would just put me out for days. I was dealing with chronic sinus infections and mood issues. And she invited me to a class that was an hour and a half away, and I normally wouldn't do such a thing, but I went to this class that Dr. Hill taught before I knew who Dr. Hill was. So he's one of the owners of doTERRA. He's the chief medical officer, and he was talking about women's health. And I remember coming away from that presentation that night with so much hope, because I'd been struggling with these things, seeing doctors, taking prescriptions, had surgery, just a lot of different things. And I was starting to feel really hopeless because things weren't working for me. And he gave me the hope that I needed to at least start dabbling in essential oils. I remember going home and just jumping online, researching the kits, and enrolling myself with the biggest kit that they had back then. It was called the Premier Kit, which is like the Natural Solutions Kit. So I was super excited. And so I'm going to be sharing a lot of things that I've learned over the 10 years of using oils, as well as my studies and research and coaching and health coaching. And so just if you have questions, please comment, or if you have things to add, please put them in the chat so other people can learn from you. So I'm going to share my screen and we will get started. All right, so get that to move forward. So the first thing I want you to do, and like most of these start, I want you to kind of rate yourself on a scale from 1 to 10, with 1 being no unwanted symptoms, not bad, to 10, like out of control. And the first one would be on your monthly cycle. Unless you're perimenopause, postmenopause, that rate yourself from 1 to 10, where you just feel that you're at in this area. And then also rate yourself, if you're in the peri or postmenopause, on your symptoms. So rate yourself between 1 and 10. 1, great, life is good. 10, terrible, right? And then I want you also to just kind of write down, you're welcome to post in the chat as well if you're willing to share, if you're having difficulty with any of these symptoms, because all of these could be signs of a hormone imbalance. So any kind of things with your thyroid, adrenal fatigue, difficulty losing weight, mood swings, trouble sleeping, infertility, poor memory, type 2 diabetes, and there might be other things that you have concerns about. So just kind of write those down, be thinking about those, and that as I go through the presentation, just kind of take note what you find that might be a solution for that. So let's first talk about our female reproductive system. So, and when we're talking about women's health and hormones, we're not just talking about our reproductive system, but that's where we're going to start. So that would include your ovaries, fallopian tubes, uterus, cervix, all of that. And including your endocrine system, which we will be talking a little bit more also. Oh, so I'm going to be referring to notes because I can go off for hours. So I'm going to try to keep myself like on task here. But knowing with our reproductive system that our estrogen and our progesterone, they naturally, one will go up and then the other one will go up. And there should be this cycle, and that corresponds with our menstrual cycle. And there should be just this natural flow. But sometimes it doesn't work. It doesn't flow as well as it should. And so one thing that I want to get out there as the most important thing for your hormone health is your nutrition and your hydration. That if we're not consuming the things that our body needs to regenerate those cells, then you're going to start seeing cells regenerating in a way that's not optimal. And that's where you're going to start seeing these problems, because our cells know what to do if we provide it with the things that it needs. And then also the hydration, the water, helps create the flow and the balance. So if we're not staying hydrated, or if we're not getting proper nutrients, we will eventually have hormone issues. So that is the number one place to start with hormones is right there. And one of the, I think it's there. So one of the things that I absolutely love about doTERRA is they're not saying like eat junk and just take lifelong vitality. They're saying this can supplement what you're eating. Research has shown that our food, the nutrient content in our food today is greatly depleted compared to like 30 years ago. So even though we might be eating mostly whole food, plant-based diet, the nutrients within our food is not like it used to be. And so oftentimes we will start seeing these nutrient deficiencies, and they play out in our hormones. Something to know, and maybe you've been on some of the different trainings, that our cells regenerate. All of the cells in our body regenerate themselves. Basically, we become a new person every 3 months. So it takes that period of time, that over that period of time, all the cells in our body regenerate. What do they regenerate from? From the nutrients that we provide it. And so making sure that we're getting those macro and micronutrients is vital. And so the lifelong vitality, that was something that Dr. Hill spoke about in that training that I went to, and talked about how important it was. And at that time, like, I didn't know anything about nutrition other than what I learned in school and from my parents, who mostly ate a standard American diet. And so that's what I was consuming. And I didn't know that it's had such an impact on my health. But he gave me hope that, and because of their 30-day money-back guarantee on the lifelong vitality, I was willing to step into that place of like, I'm going to try these. I've tried a lot of different things, a lot of prescriptions, a lot of doctor's appointments, a lot of things. And I never received a money-back guarantee. I never received a, hey, if this doesn't work, we'll give you your money back. But doTERRA offered that with the lifelong vitality. So it gave me enough hope to step in that place where I was willing to try them. And so if you're not familiar with these, I think we talk about them every time we do a continuing education because they're so foundational to our health. But the things that I want to note with this is, so we know the vitamins and minerals, without a doubt, some of the best with whole food vitamins and minerals. Then you have all your omegas with 9 different essential oils in there. These are great. All of these support our hormone health. And then we have the alpha CRS, which I want to bring up a little bit about our liver, because not only do we have hormones that are produced like within our reproductive system, but our liver does as well. And this is like a superfood. This alpha CRS is a superfood for our liver, which regulates many of the hormones in our body. So if we are not taking care of our liver, if we're not giving it the things that it needs, that over time, it's just going to be overtaxed and it's not going to be sending the signals out to produce the hormones that our bodies need. So the alpha CRS, like I said, it's like a liver superfood and a great hormone regulator. With the vitamins and minerals, some of the big things with that are, your vitamin D, extra vitamin D, vitamin C. These are all needed for hormone balance. And one that I absolutely love, and I didn't really have an appreciation for this when it first came out until I started learning, especially for women, that we need extra vitamin D and magnesium, which are found in this bone nutrient. So in addition to what's in the lifelong vitality, this can help supplement even more to help with metabolic processes. This can help with weight management with having that extra vitamin D and magnesium. It's also, because of that, it's great for hormone balance. So just know, I mean, there's a lot of talk about these type of vitamins, for fragile bones, and, as you're going into perimenopause, menopause, that we need to supplement. Just know that this is a great daily supplement that you can add to that will also help. And it's not just for women, but also for men. Men have hormones, right? So this is something that they can take as well. Now, I don't know how many of you heard of the phytoestrogen. This is, when we're talking women's health, this is probably one of my absolute favorites. So I want to explain what this is in kind of a way that is really simplified, but that you'll understand and appreciate. So we all have estrogen, and we should have, estrogen levels go up, progesterone goes down, and then it will kind of switch where it goes down and goes up. So on our cells, there's these receptor sites. There's kind of like a little pouch where estrogen will attach to. And when it attaches, it sends little chemical messages to do certain things, right? So we need the estrogen to do what our body should be doing. And what happens is that there are these estrogens. They're not really estrogens, but they're called xenoestrogens. And they're chemicals that act like estrogen. And if you think like on a school playground, estrogens would be your kind of quiet kid. Doesn't say a lot, kind of gentle. That's estrogen. Xenoestrogens are like the bully on the playground. And those xenoestrogens will actually kick off the estrogen on those receptor sites and send different signals. And why this matters is that can create this hormone imbalance. And there are people who will go in and they'll get tested. You're like, something's wrong with me. I'm just not feeling right. I have these symptoms. And doctors will perform tests to see where your estrogen levels are. And it will show that you're estrogen dominant. And why that is because those xenoestrogens have kicked off the estrogen. So you have all these free estrogen floating around. So when you take that test, it will seem like you have too much estrogen. And when in fact you actually don't, you just have estrogen that's not able to attach to these receptor sites because of the xenoestrogens. Well, where do these xenoestrogens come from? They come from like plastics, they come from parabens, phthalates, they come from fragrances. You know, think of all the toxic chemicals that were around. So when we talk about, you know, kind of detoxing our life and our home and green cleaning products, this is one of the reasons why it's so important. Because as you smell those fragrances that are synthetic, as you are putting on chemicals on your body that there might have fragrances or parabens or phthalates, these are chemicals that our body absorbs and they act like estrogen. But they're xenoestrogens. And so they come in and they are the bully and they knock off those estrogens, which can create this hormone imbalance. And then you will add into the mix if you're getting tested and you're tested as estrogen dominant, because now you're going to be receiving more chemicals into your body if you're taking like medication that actually isn't helping you, it's causing a bigger problem, but you don't know this, right? And so what phytoestrogens are, they're not actually estrogens, but they're natural substances that come in and they can kick off and destroy, gobble up, eat up those xenoestrogens off those receptor sites so that the estrogens can then go onto the receptor sites and do what they were meant to do, to send those signals to your body of what it should be doing and how much hormones to be producing at what time, right? So phytoestrogen, it's made from a fermented soy. So if you've heard like soy is bad, this is not the same as soy. This is fermented soy, which is an extract that is very helpful. It promotes healthy breast tissue, hormone balance. And another thing that it does is it will gobble up those xenoestrogens. So of course we will want to start eliminating, detoxing some of the things that are in our home. doTERRA has a lot of great products to do that. Skincare, you know, your facial cleansers, shampoo, conditioner, soap. There's just so many things that we can be replacing to help eliminate some of those xenoestrogens, but it's hard in the chemical world that we live in to totally eliminate them. And just know that the phytoestrogen complex can help support your body so that those estrogens can do what they were meant to do. And along with this is one of my favorite oils for women's health. So rose oil, and I love that they put it in the Touch. So it's in a roller bottle, which makes it a little bit more affordable than buying that little 5 milliliter rose, which is really expensive. Because it's already been diluted, this is one that we can use. And one of my favorite things with, I didn't mention with the xenoestrogens, some of those things that it causes are cancer. So we have like breast cancer, prostate cancer, endometriosis, causes infertility. So if you're dealing with issues of those things, be thinking chemicals, thinking toxins that are in my body. In addition, doTERRA has a great cleanse that you can do to help cleanse some of those things out of your body, but also knowing the phytoestrogen is helpful as well. Also with the rose, so this is one that you can rub over your belly during that time of the month if you're having any kind of discomfort, and it helps with libido. So if like hormone issues sometimes, you know, destroy our libido, this is one that can be very helpful for that. It also helps emotionally through some of the things that we deal with our menstruation, with our cycle, and it just really promotes that healthy, regular ovulation. So I just absolutely love that one. The next one you might be thinking about as far as women's health is the Clari-Calm. I've fallen in love with this. So I used to have like heavier periods, cramping, PMS, and would take, ibuprofen or Advil, something to help with that. This has been a complete amazing replacement. And I usually just use it on the first day of like heavier flow. I just rub it on my stomach. And every single time it's like I just forget about it, that it's that time of the month. So this is a great one, especially if you have heavy periods or if a lot of emotional PMS, things like that during that time of the month. This is one that you can use. It's also great for as you're approaching menopause or with the hot flashes. It helps to reduce, minimize, and sometimes get rid of those for you. And so rubbing it on your stomach, also on your ankles, massaging it into your ankles is a great place to put this oil. And it's great for teenagers. So if you have teenagers, know that this is like a lifesaver instead of giving them medication or just sucking it up, right? Now we're going to be talking about the endocrine system next and how they impact our hormones. So the endocrine system is like your liver, your pancreas, adrenals, and thyroid. So we're going to just kind of go into each of these and know that these support growth and development. This supports metabolism. So think about weight management. Oftentimes we get into that, our 30s or so, and we start putting on weight, even though our diet's the same and our exercise level, our movement level is the same, but somehow we're like putting on weight. So think about those things with this because it could be a hormone issue. So our endocrine system, you can see all the different parts of this. So let's dive into our liver, which I talked a little bit about, but our livers are really, really important. They're one of our filtering organs. And because of the chemical age that we're in, that often our livers become very overtaxed with chemicals in our food and all the other things that I said we're exposed to, that those things can build up in our liver. So I think of like a sieve, where you are trying to get some water out of maybe some pasta, right? That filter, that sieve can get clogged. So that would be your liver. It can get clogged to where it's not filtering as well as it should. And that's going to impact your hormones because the liver also modulates many of our hormones. So a simple way to help detox your liver is lemon in your water. And just drinking that in your water regularly every day. That also helps with hydration. We drink way more water if it's flavored. And so you're flavoring it with something that's not sugary or has calories or is harmful. It's just with lemon, which is great for many other reasons, but we'll focus on the liver. Slim and Sassy is another one you can put in your water, which is great support for your liver. And then there is the Zendocrine. There's the oil, which I don't like the taste of it. So I'm glad it's in capsules. But there's just the oil, or you can get the capsules and take that. And it's a great liver, kidney, filtering organs type detox. The next would be your pancreas. So your pancreas is what really helps modulate your metabolism, your blood sugar levels. And so this is something that can also be impacted with different toxins and things that we're exposed to, and will eventually start affecting your hormones. And this is where you might think pre-type 2 diabetes or type 2 diabetes, even some of the things that we can, supporting the pancreas is also supported if you do have type 1 diabetes, or if you're finding you having weight management issues. So Slim and Sassy is one that helps support from a metabolic standpoint. So I know a lot of people want to use it for weight loss, but how it does that is it helps support blood sugar levels, helps support the pancreas and metabolism. And so there are capsules that you can purchase and take, and I recommend that you take them with food if you're going to do that. You can also get the oil and put it in water. Some people love the taste, some people don't like the taste. If you don't like the taste, don't use the oil in your water, because you don't want to be having a negative perception of water, right? Like, I don't want to drink that because it tastes gross. So you can play with that if you'd rather do the oil or the capsules. Also, it helps to release water. A lot of times we carry extra weight just as water weight. If you see like your ankles are swelling a little bit, you're feeling heavier. Like sometimes I just feel heavier, right? The Slim and Sassy can help with that and releasing that excess water. Another one, this is amazing. These two are awesome for our adrenals. So our adrenals are what help modulate some different hormones. One of them is cortisol. So cortisol is a hormone. Some people call it stress hormone. So when we're feeling stressed, cortisol will be released. It's kind of the fight or flight hormone. So it gives you this burst of energy, which is a good thing if it's during the day and if it's appropriate, maybe there's an emergency to have cortisol. But a lot of times if we're living in a state of high stress, think COVID, think there's been a lot of challenges and changes and things that we're struggling with on a daily basis. And you hear the news and you hear this and trying to figure out if you have kids, are they going back to school, not going back to school, if job, if finances, like there's just so much that, especially right now, and a lot of times at different times in your life, you might be living under a lot more stress, and that affects your hormones. So cortisol is a hormone and it should naturally be released. But if we're living in a state of high stress, then cortisol is being released a lot, and it can cause adrenal fatigue, tire out your adrenals. And then also what happens is that it will impact your melatonin, which is another hormone that should turn on at night so that you will naturally calm down and fall asleep. But it messes with that cycle. And so you'll be having this cortisol that's being produced and pumped out, and it's overpowering your melatonin. So even though you're tired, exhausted, you can't sleep. So now you have sleep problems. So one that's really supportive of your adrenals is Magnolia. And so your adrenals are kind of in your back. And so you'd be rubbing the Magnolia on your adrenals, which is phenomenal. It smells great. It's heavenly. It's also great for mood and emotional support, but is really great for helping support your adrenals. The other thing is Mito 2 Max. So if you haven't tried this, I love it. I'm like, I have 6 kids just on the go, lots of things going on. And for the most part, the Lifelong Vitality is what I need. Like, keeps me going. I used to have a caffeine pick me up in the afternoon or take an afternoon nap. With the Lifelong Vitality, I don't feel that way, that I have, for the most part, enough energy. But there'll be times where maybe I didn't sleep so well, or things are a little more stressful. I work out a lot, or I was training for a marathon. So this is a supplement that you can take that helps produce more natural energy. So there's no stimulants in it. It helps your mitochondria, which is the little engines in your cells, to produce more energy naturally. So it's awesome. And so you can use it during the day if you're feeling like you need a little bit more of a pick-me-up. But the really cool thing is that if you're having issues with your adrenals, or even with your thyroid, maybe you have hypothyroidism, that people taking Mito 2 Max just before bed helps them to sleep. And then while they're sleeping, it helps to regenerate, because when we're sleeping, that's when a lot of repairing is going on in our body, that our bodies are starting to use the nutrients to repair the body. And so the Mito 2 Max actually helps to do that. So that's how it can support the adrenals if you're taking it at night. And then the last one would be your thyroid. And so your thyroid regulates different hormones in your body. Your thyroid is in your throat. There are people who have thyroid issues, and they know that. One thing that this is a great blend for if you wanted to support your thyroid, is the clove, myrrh, frankincense, and lemongrass. And you just put it in a roller bottle, top it off with the fractionated coconut oil, and you just rub it on your thyroid. It is magnificent. This has worked for a lot of people if you know you have thyroid issues. Great blend. So here's just a suggestion for a sample wellness box that you can order through your loyalty rewards program. If you're not familiar with the loyalty rewards program, if you have a membership with doTERRA, it's a monthly kind of like a wellness box subscription that you can do. You don't have to do it, but there's advantages to do it if you're finding you're wanting to order products on a more regular basis. And especially if you're purchasing the Lifelong Vitality supplements, that you get your 25% off discount, but then you also get reward points. So they're going in this little doTERRA bank account. So every time you purchase, you're getting between 10 to 30% back in these product credits that you can then redeem and get some free products. So it's really the smartest way to purchase. So as far as, like, there's a women's health kit that you can go into the the shop feature, and you can search for this, and it will give you a better deal on the bone nutrient, phytoestrogen, and the Clary Calm as a combination. And then this is just recommending you could add on the Rose Touch. And so that would be $139.50 would be the price, but it's 125 PV. And why that's a good little thing to know is that if you have 125 PV by the 15th of the month, then doTERRA will send you a free oil with that order. And so this month is Caraway, which you can't purchase. And Caraway is awesome for digestive issues, for metabolism. There's some emotional benefits as well, but that's mostly what it's known for. But you would get that oil for free with that order. But this is just a suggestion. I would take the list. So you probably made a list of like, these are kind of the issues that I'm dealing with. And hopefully you found some solutions that you thought, hey, this might be helpful to order, that you can create your own little wellness box for that order. So I'm going to stop sharing now and see if there's any questions, or if you have any, you're welcome to unmute. Yeah, sinus infections are not fun. Okay. So I think why ankles? So in your ankles, if you've learned anything about reflexology, if you haven't, I would just go Google it just to see what reflexology is. We have, I would say like little receptors that run from in our feet and in our hands, in our ears, that run to all the different body systems and parts of our body. And so in our ankle, they actually have reflex points there that run to our reproductive organs. And so when you're rubbing the oils on your ankles, it's helping support your reproductive organs. So that's a good place to be putting them, as well as on your stomach. Let's see, love Clary Calm, ankles are reflex points for uterus and ovaries. Yes, thanks. I didn't know you could take the Zendocrine soft gels daily. Yes. So it's a gentle detox. I remember there's like lemon and rosemary, and I can't remember what else is in the Zendocrine, but you can look it up, Google it, right? Any other questions or comments before I finish off?
I have a question.
Yes.
Sorry, on my video on. This is Nikki. I've been taking the Lifelong Vitality for several months now, but it gave me intestinal issues, so I stopped taking it. I didn't think it was from that, but my husband was insistent that it was. So I stopped taking them altogether, and it pretty much stopped. How do I know which one it was, or what was doing, or how to figure out what dosages are good for my body? And then also part B of that is, if I wanted to add other supplements on, how do I know if there's too many, or what my body wants and needs and all that? Like, how do I figure that out?
Right. So yes, everyone like is bio-individual. So all of our bodies are different. What is like food for somebody else is poison for someone else. The Lifelong Vitality does have a tummy tamer blend in there, but it would probably be trying to dive in a little bit more as to what those intestinal issues are, like if you ever had that before, and possibly using one at a time to see if, okay, if I'm using Alpha CRS, just that one, are you good? If you're taking the vitamins and minerals, the VMZ, are you good? Or the omegas, right? So to be able to pinpoint what it is would first probably just be taking them individually if you're wanting to do that. In addition to that, I've seen a lot of people who, even if they use oils or certain products, that it puts them into kind of a detox state. And so there might be some unwanted symptoms because of that. And so I have always recommended, and this is what I did when I first started what I was doing with doTERRA, was a cleanse. And so doTERRA does have their cleanse protocol. And I don't know if you've done that, but I had to do it for several months in a row. It's a 30-day cleanse. I think I did it for 3 months. And then I moved to quarterly, and now it's just periodically, but it can help flush our systems of other things that might be like triggers, because most people are able to take the Lifelong Vitality unless you do have some underlying health issues that maybe you know of. And if not, then it's most likely probably doing the cleanse. I don't know if you've ever tried taking like Digestin with those, or Terrazyme, because sometimes,
So
go ahead.
oh, sorry. So actually, when I did take the digestin with it, I did do that for a week and it was okay. But then I was like, okay, why am I always taking digestin with it? I do have the cleanse. I bought it to do like last month, but I stopped because of the intestinal things.
Mhm.
But and I was just afraid that it would just be worse with a cleanse. But I did actually have that same question. Is it just a detox my body is doing from the lifelong vitality stuff? But then I didn't know where to go from there. Do I back off or do I do a cleanse? Or so you said you did a cleanse 3 months in a row,
Yeah.
and
Because
that's
I was
okay.
dealing with, yes. So it's not like it's not some major cleanse. I think one of the hardest ones is the GX Assist. If you've taken that before, um, it's one of my favorites. Some people say it gives them a little bit of stomach cramping, but the things you take before you get to the GX Assist kind of prepare your body. It helps cleanse your filtering organs. So the first 10 days is clearing those filtering organs so that they can be filtering toxins. And then you start with the cleansing process, because you don't want to start cleansing if your organs are like not ready to do that. So that's why first 10 days is kind of prepping for the cleanse so that your body is ready to do it. And then you do for 10 days is the cleanse. And then 10 days is replenishing your body. So I would give that a try since you already have it on hand. You could even half the lifelong vitality supplements, or you could just be using maybe the first 10 days, you're just doing one of them. And then the next 10 days, you're trying another one just to see how it impacts you, how you feel. Or you could leave them out. If you wanted to choose to leave them out while you're doing the cleanse, you could do that too.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. I do Ironmans. What vitamin is good for my, oh gosh, lifelong vitality? Absolutely. And I would probably be supplementing with the Mito 2 Max, just as far as extra energy. Absolutely, for sure. So someone has had thyroid cancer and their thyroid was removed. The oils in the thyroid blend are helpful to our bodies, whether you have a thyroid or not. Obviously, it wouldn't be impacting your thyroid or helping to regulate hormones that would be produced from the thyroid. But you could give it a try as far as how it could help support supplement in other ways because you don't have a thyroid. Let's see. Allergies, magnolia and lavender, lemon, peppermint, not too close to eye. Okay, that's a good one. I'd like to use claric. Awesome. Okay, so I do want to just quickly share with you the joys of sharing essential oils. And I am so grateful for Elise, my friend, who shared oils with me 10 years ago. Because I was in a place where had she not come into my life with essential oils and put me more on the natural route and changing my nutrition and learning about toxins and all these things that were impacting my health, I fear that I would have been kind of like my grandparents were, on multiple medications where I was just surviving in life instead of thriving. So her willingness to kind of jump out of her comfort zone and share with me. And she was new with oils. She wasn't even sure it would work for allergies. She didn't know, like, here, are you, willing to try? Maybe it will help. And it did. And so that was just a real shift because of her. And so I love sharing essential oils. And I want to share with you that there are 3 ways that we can do this. So especially at this time where like so many people are in need, where a lot of people have turned inward, they're stuck in their homes, stuck in their places. It's very inward communities that we've kind of created, that this is an opportunity to reach beyond maybe just our needs and seeing other people out there and ways that we can step up and have an impact inside and outside of our home. So there's 3 different ways that we can share with people. The first would be just being a referral partner, right? Like, maybe you have friends or family that are open to these things, or they're struggling with certain things, that you can refer them to the person who enrolled you, that they can help them, that they can teach them, educate them, help them get connected to some solutions that might be helpful, share samples with them, whatever. So that's a great opportunity for you to share, and that you can receive some free oils for sharing. The second would be if you are willing to do a little bit more, and this would be helping to teach your friends or family how to use them, how to get their own membership with doTERRA, that doTERRA will compensate you. And this basically creates enough income for you to get your oils paid for, in a sense, is like free healthcare. And there's thousands and thousands of people in doTERRA who are doing this. So they're not creating some massive business or a huge income, but it is enough. And it's also doing a lot of good as we are able to reach out to people that we love and help them. And then the third way is to build a team where we are able to create a supplemental income or a replacement income from our sharing, where we are reaching beyond just friends and family, that we are willing to share and help a lot more people and learn how to do it as a business. And so for those who just want to get your products paid for, that's mostly what I'm going to be talking about. It's about 3 to 5 hours a week initially, and you would personally enroll a few people to be able to get to at least to the rank. It's called Elite, and around $300 a month in income. On average, it takes about 3 months to get there. So I think that that's really cool, that there is an opportunity for you to share and help people and also be able to get those products paid for. For those who want to supplement their income, it's part-time work. So you could be working a full-time job and still be creating this extra income. If you're wanting to get out of debt, if you're wanting to put kids through school, if you're wanting to travel a little bit more, if you wanted to have a reserve for things that come up like COVID craziness, that you have that income coming in. So it takes about 2 years working that part-time to get to around $5,000 a month. And I did the calculations. If you were to do about 15 hours a week and we're earning this $5,000 a month, you're getting paid about $80 an hour working part-time. I think that's amazing. And I don't know if there's something else that you could do in 2 years' time that would get you to a place where you are earning $80 an hour, helping people in such a great way. But also it's a little bit different kind of income, which it creates residual income. So you're not necessarily getting paid, I have to work an hour to earn $80. That there'll be times when you take off a week or two, or, you work a little bit less hours, but you're still getting paid that income. And it can just work its way up from there. Replacing your income. This is something that I wanted to do. And the reason I wanted to do it is because I had a big family. I wanted to be a mom that was able to be present and have control over my time, when I worked, when I didn't work, where I worked from, but then also be able to create a good income so that my kids could take piano lessons and my kids could have opportunities. And my kids could also see that I was not just making an impact in our home, but I was making an impact out of our home, that I had skills and abilities, and I also had a potential to grow and continue learning and progressing and facing challenges and doing all the things that I wanted my kids to do. I wanted to be that example, and that I was able to do that part-time within a few years to be able to reach this Blue Diamond rank, right? And so totally blown out of the water as far as thinking, okay, this is average 58 months, let's say that's 5 years. Like, what could you do in 5 years to be able to create that kind of income? I don't know of too many other things, maybe gambling, I don't know, it would be consistent. There aren't a lot of things that you can do part-time to be able to create that kind of income. So know that that's possible. But I'm not going to be talking about how to do that. I'm going to be talking a little bit more just briefly on how to create a little extra income to get your oils paid for, a little bit of supplement. And so basically what we do is we sample people. We give them, we want to let them have an experience with the oils. And then once they've had a good experience with oils, we want to invite them to a class. And these classes can be in person. You might be in a state where we don't do in-person stuff, but maybe you do. They can be in your home. They could be online. They can be one-on-ones. They could be a phone call where you're teaching people how to use those oils. Online, like a Zoom class, just like this. There are businesses that enjoy people coming in and teaching their clients how to use essential oils. So there's a lot of different types of classes and places, but we basically help them have a good experience with something just simple, little, like allergies, right? Invite them to a class, and then help them to get connected to oils. How do they get their own membership? How do they get the oils into their home? So if you are preparing to host a class, so maybe you're willing to host a class and invite some friends and family. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays usually are the best. Things might be a little bit different with COVID and schedules, and maybe there's more people home with flexible times, but just, trying to pick a day and a time that would be most convenient to the people that you're inviting. You will want to make sure that you provide a sample to them for something that's relevant for them. So maybe they have headaches, digestive issues, some type of pain, stress, sleep issues. Those are kind of the big common things, and things that they could get a quick experience with using the oils for a few days, right? And so you sample them, you invite maybe 10 people that have had a good experience to that class. Usually about 6 to 8 of them will show up. And there's the dailymentorcalls.com. If you haven't signed up for those are great. Even if you're just wanting to share a little bit, they will teach you how to effectively share with people. The first 14 calls are great for learning how to sample, how to invite, how to follow up with people, how to get people to a class and not be all weird about it, right? So then after you've invited them to the class, you usually follow up with them 2 days before just to remind them, and then 2 hours before the class, because we sometimes forget. So just sending it out a quick text reminder that you're excited to see them at the class. Now, if you're hosting the class, somebody else is coming to teach it for you, you want to make sure that you're introducing the presenter, whoever's teaching, and helping the people who are there know why they should listen to this person. Like, why are they so awesome? How long have they been using oils? Why do you appreciate what they have to share? And so you're going to introduce them. You will have one experience to share that's your own oil experience. And I recommend it's just something simple. It's not some big grandiose thing. It can be, but often it's just a simple little thing like allergies, right? That is impactful for friends and family to hear. And then just be aware, eliminating distractions is helpful. So if it's possible not to have, kids that are running in and out, that would be great. If pets, it's a clean environment. It doesn't have to be this beautiful home like it's showing in the picture, but just a place that doesn't have a lot of distractions so that people can really learn and focus on what's being shared. You might diffuse some oils. Wild orange, peppermint are great ones. Provide a little bit of water, maybe some lemon water during the class. And then afterwards, maybe just have some basic refreshments. It could just be some fruits or vegetables with a little dip, peppermint brownies, nothing big. Unless that's your thing, that's your jam, and people know you for like doing something awesome. It can just be really super fun and simple. And then, oh, I think I skipped one. Nope, we're there. So this is really it. This is how simple it is to be able to get your oils paid for. You will give friends, family, a sample of something. Usually it's one sample. If they're not in your area where you can drop it off and you need to mail it, you might send 2 samples. Don't send a plethora of samples because it's confusing to people. It's too much, it's overwhelming. So send one, and also just for one health issue. So these are great ones. So be thinking sleep, headaches, digestion, pain, stress, maybe allergies. Those are great things to sample for because most people get a pretty immediate experience with that. And so you're sending that one sample, and then once they get it and they've had a good experience, you're going to teach them 3 cool things about oils and 3 ways to use them. You will then show them the kit options, and that's it. That's it. Like, it's super simple. Anybody can do it. And not only do you get your oils paid for, but you could really be that person that changes the trajectory of somebody else's life. Maybe it's not that dramatic, but for me, it was that dramatic. But just know that you could be that answer to someone's prayer by doing this. So this is a great thing to get tapped into if you're not. Even if you're just kind of thinking about it, the Daily Mentor Call, so go to dailymentorcalls.com. And it will give you access to business trainings. And like I said, the first 14 calls, so you can just listen to the recordings anytime you want. You can listen to them all in one day, or you could like spread them out one a day just to learn the basics of sampling, inviting, following up, and helping people get to a class. So in the end, I love this quote from one of the owners of doTERRA, Greg Cook. He said that when you share doTERRA products, you bring hope and wellness to the people you love. Think about today. What do people need? They need hope. They need wellness. So you can bring that to your community and ultimately to the world. Selling the doTERRA way is about service. So a lot of people will say, I'm not a salesperson. Well, that's great, because we don't need salespeople. We need people who want to serve others. And we do that one drop at a time and one person at a time. We are serving the world with wellness solutions. And I love it. I love the doTERRA culture. Are there any questions about that or any of the products before we close? Okay, if not, just know if you want to fill out the survey, I think Chelsea's tracking that, get a fun prize. You can fill that out. She'll probably have it on the Facebook group, I would say tomorrow. So you can be looking for that. All right, everyone, have a great night.